Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you.
Good morning, my followers. A very good morning to you all. Of course, I'm Dola Festus, and on today's discussion, it is a continuous video from the previous two videos that we were talking or discussing about learner-centered education. So this one is just a continuous from the previous two. On today, we are going to start with the role of the teacher in learner-centered education. The role of a teacher in the learner-centered education. Okay. It should be quite clear from all above that the role of the teacher is diminishing. So when I talk about diminishing, it's something becoming smaller or fewer or even lesser. So the word diminishing means something to become smaller, fewer, or lesser. So it says it should be quite clear from all above that the role of the teacher is diminishing and will be of a different status. So maybe, for example, to be like a facilitator, unlike in a traditional classroom setting or unlike in a convention teaching method. The teacher in learner-centered classroom will have to, okay, these are the roles now. The teacher in the learner-centered classroom will have to, it's just a minimum requirement for the teacher, the role of a teacher in a learner-centered classroom setting, okay? One, the teacher have to prepare work for every lesson. One of the role is to prepare work for every lesson. Number two, to have the teaching and the learning materials ready. Number three, to plan activities for learners to do. Okay. Number four, to prepare learning support mini lessons. To prepare learning support mini lessons. Number five, to mark and check on absenteeism. To mark and check on absenteeism. This is to follow up on those who were absent. For example, for those who were absent, just to follow up on them and then to make a special attention just for them to catch up, okay? And then number six, have assessment task ready and assess both written and oral work. You need to have your assessment task ready and you need to assess both written and oral work, okay? Number seven, you need to prepare more structured quizzes, objectives of the curriculum, as well as the syllabus's competencies, okay? And then number eight, the last one, you need to have the materials ready for faster and slower learners. So these are some of the roles of a teacher: to prepare work for every lesson, to have the teaching and the learning materials ready, to plan activities for learners to do, to prepare learning support mini lessons, to mark and check on absenteeism, to have the assessment task ready and assess both written and oral work, to prepare more structured quizzes, objectives of the curriculum and the syllabus competency, and then the last one, to have the materials ready for faster and slower learners. These are some of the roles of a teacher in learner-centered education. This is very, very much important, and you might we might ask you to tell more about, or just to write in written, the role of a teacher in a learner-centered education. Make sure that you familiarize yourself with this role of a teacher in learner-centered education. We are moving on to learner-centered education and the learner. Learner-centered education and the learner, okay? So there are some advantages of shifting the focus from the teacher to the learner, okay? What are the advantages of taking the focus now from the teacher-centered education to the learner-centered? What are the advantages to the learners? What are the learners benefiting from learner-centered education, since now they have a voice and they have a part in their learning, okay? One of it says what? Learning objective for the learner are achieved. The learning objectives for the learners are achieved. Okay, learning from the learner's own experience and interest. The other one, learning to interact with each other. Learners learn to interact with each other. So here's how they communicate. They interact with each other. Learning speed is learner-centered. Okay, the learning includes personal interest. Learning from pair and group activities. Okay, learn by doing. So they learn by doing. Learning by doing. Learning from useful materials. Learning from useful materials. Learning from or learning through emotional development. Okay, and then the last one, learning from one's peers. So here learners learn from one another, from others. Okay, so these are some of the advantages to the learner in learner-centered education. Learning objective for the learner, learning from the learner's own experience and interest, learning to interact with each other. The learning speed is learner-centered. Learning includes personal interest, learning from pair and group activities, learning by doing, learning from useful materials, learning through emotional development, and then the last one, learning from one's peers. Okay, these were some of the advantages of shifting the focus from the teacher now to the learner, from teacher-centered education or from teacher-centered approach to learner-centered approach. Okay, then we remember the word diminishing. That is, it means what? Becoming smaller or fewer or even lesser. So yeah, okay, we are now moving to some of the what? Some of the advantages of the learner-centered to the teacher. What are the advantages now to the teacher? What will the teacher now benefit from learner-centered education or from learner-centered approach? So let's have a look. There are only three. Okay. Number one, more personal involvement. So the teacher will benefit through more personal involvement. Okay. Number two, more and better materials. More and better materials. Okay. Then the last one, continuous assessment. Okay, the teacher will benefit under what? Under more personal involvement, which is number one. Number two, more and better materials. And then the last one, continuous assessment. So the advantages of learner-centered to the teacher, there are just three. Okay, more personal involvement, more and better materials, and then continuous assessment. Okay, that was some of the advantages of learner-centered education to the teacher, how the teacher will benefit from learner-centered. There are just three: more personal involvement, more and better materials, and then the last one, continuous assessment. I hope you familiarize yourself with these advantages and make your own research to elaborate more on them rather than just stating them without any further explanation. Okay, then you move to learner-centered strategies. Learner-centered strategies. Okay, these are the strategies in learner-centered education or in learner-centered setting. Okay, grouping learners. Okay, grouping learners. Okay, group work. This is a type of activity which a learner work together in a group in order to learn something. When I talk about a group work, this is a type of activity in which learners work together in a group in order to learn something. Okay, the aim is to learn something. Okay, the teacher can group or can divide learners in different ways. It can make a group of two, which is called a pair, a group of three, four, or even more. It depends on the teacher, how a teacher wants to divide his or her classroom, or how a teacher wants to form up groups. Okay, and then the group work require learners to sit together. So the group work require learners to sit together. That's why it's called a group work. Okay, or it require arranging of desk. So it require the arrangement of desk or tables and chairs in groups. So it's arranged through what? Through grouping desk or tables and chairs in groups. Okay, so the reason for group works or for grouping learners is to do what? The reason for group work. You can even ask, what are the reasons why teachers need to do what? To group learners. Okay, these are some of the things that you can mention. It develops skills in communication. It develops communication skills. Okay, it develops cooperation skills. And leadership skills. And then the other reason is to do what? For doing continuous assessment easily. Make it easier for the teacher to consult or to do continuous assessment easily. Okay, so there are two ways of organizing group work. There are only two, not two types of groups, but two ways of organizing group work. Make sure that you understand this very, very well. They are not groups, but they are ways. There are two ways of organizing group work. They are not two ways of two types of groups, but two ways of organizing a group. Okay, number one is cooperatively. When I talk about cooperatively, is when learners share the same task. Yes, learners share the same task. Example, the activity that involve problem solving. Learners sit in a group, but they all have to share the same task. Okay, then the other one is individually. Where individually here, it's when the learners sit in a group. But they work individually. So learners seated in a group, but every learner has an individual task to do. Okay, and then sometimes they can also ask assistance from others and share their own ideas if they prefer to. Okay, so that was some of the learner-centered aspects that you need to know. We talked about the role of the teacher in learner-centered classroom. We talked about learner-centered education and the advantage of learners, how learners will benefit from learner-centered, how the teacher will benefit from learner-centered, the role of the teacher in learner-centered, grouping learners, under learner-centered strategies. Okay, the next video we are going to focus on the types of the group now. Okay, so from my side, Dola Festus, goodbye, and then don't be left out with the next videos. Okay, bye bye.
A, E, I, O, A. A, E, I, O, A. A, E, I, O, A are short vowels that we use. A vowel is in every word, every word, every word. A vowel is in every word.